It's very possible that you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Well, it sounds like somebody is ready. Thank you to X4000 and Mr. Freeberg and the Billy May Singers, and of course to all of you out there in Radioland. Is there a Radioland? I think this is the place for Radioland on a Saturday evening, right here on the Old Tube Radio Network, Central California and beyond. If you're listening at oldtuberadio.net or perhaps watching the YouTube video, or one of our listeners or operators right here in the Central Valley of California on Channel 11. Welcome to those of you who have joined us from Old Radio Night, which may or may not still be in progress. It was good to see it on tonight. And let me jump over. Oh, it looks like it has concluded, so I will try and get the video up for that. But anyway, the meantime, my name is Dennis, net controller of the Old Tube Radio Network, something that we have been a gathering that we have been doing here on Channel 11 since the mid-1980s for the purpose to promote and distribute information about old tube radios on your 11-meter citizen band radio service, and to provide an opportunity for those that have the older radios to drive them around the block, if you were, get them on the air at least once a week, and also to give our listeners that sound. What did it sound like back in the 1960s or the 70s, or even 1959 when these radios were on the air? Stay tuned and you will find out. Our shortwave listeners would like to join us and say hello. We'll be chatting with them in moments. What I'd like to do first is to see if there's anybody locally here over the airwaves that would like to get checked in early so they can continue to do what it is they're supposed to be doing on a Saturday evening, listening for early check-ins. Over.
Yeah, good evening there, Dennis. You got 553 in the legend. Want to check in early, brother?
All right, Mr. Belair, I'm just checking. If you're playing the home game, it should be week number 6. No, week number 7 already. How can it be? For the 28th of January, we're putting an X in the square, and if I do it right, let me bring up my page. It will show that indeed you are checked in. As always, thanks for joining us, and you are sounding good. Over.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, Dennis. Yeah, and I want to say hello to Jay Bird up there if he's listening on the Bluetooth. 73, take care. Bye-bye.
All right, very good. I think we will have our radio roster pictures tonight, thanks to SWL3 and Frodex for doing a good job of chiseling into the various little databases. And I think what it is, you know how they have the 3-hole punch on the Rolodex card? Well, a lot of those little, where the holes were had come apart, and the little Rolex papers were falling out of the system, so they put those, you know, those little rings around the hole so that when I look in the Rolodex now, the pages won't be falling out. Anybody else that would like to get a check-in? And I do see that some of you are there on the YouTube page, so we'll get you checked in, no problem. Yeah, you don't have to have an Old Tube Radio number. We're glad that you stopped by, but please stay tuned, because our tube radio operators that take the time to and the expense to keep the radios on the air will be joining us shortly. 00 for another couple of weeks is Neil from Kakalaki out there in the sand hills of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Not sure if he's in quite yet, but I will check my items of interest, but he will stop by and say what is happening up. A lot of you tuning in. Thanks for that. So we'll get 00 proxied in. I will get my mouse to work and we'll be up and running. So Neil is in. We will get SWL number 1 checked in. The virtually cosmically, the guy that, along with SWL2, is out there set up long ago. Far away, well, not so far away, but long ago, this bastion of tubiness here on Channel 11. Says, why don't we go down to Channel 11, the call frequency, and pull out our tube radios and have a chat, right? And we're still doing it here. Mr. OBP saying our sunspot numbers are down, but as you know, if you've been on the airwaves, the conditions are quite good if you want to talk farther than 150 miles, which is A-OK according to the FCC now on your 11-meter radio. So not a bad thing. Numbers are in the 80s, but still good conditions, coming off some good conditions. I know the 10-meter AM has been doing quite well. The 11-meter AM, as you know, has been doing quite well as all. Also getting a check in for Rob, SWL number 3. Again, Rob, thanks for getting in and helping us out with the video files. Over to SWL number 5. And that is Mr. Rainmaker. I'm not sure if he's with us yet. How about SWL 7? And I'll get Ed proxied, and I think he is away from the air chair, but he may be back just in time to say hello, radio. There's our 00. Hello, Neil, getting you checked in with the X in the square. The weather's good and good conditions. Yeah, you know it. Good conditions all over to talk to the West Coast, East Coast, to Europe, Australia, Hawaii. It's been a good week here with the sunspot numbers. Let's go to shortwave listener number 10. Listening for Dwayne and Chrissy from Idaho. They should be around shortly. Also, the Echo link is up. I see a few of you there. We'll be chatting with you. Thanks for joining us on the Echo link. SWL 11. Mr. Cornbread, who sounded like you guys had a long day today. So Mr. Cornbread is at the adult beverage counter. And 12, Dapper Dan is in Skipland, where you can shoot the skip no matter what the conditions are. So 11 and 12 are checked in. Cornbread and Dapper Dan, thanks for joining us. SWL 13. Mike, Mr. Cobra should be around near the end of the net. I'll keep an eye out. Also, hello to Albert, the boys up in the balcony, the Squamish contingent up there saying hello, radio, setting up whatever they set up. So if you can't make it down to the green room, because we have all sorts of stuff, stop up the balcony. It's a short walk up the stairs or down the stairs. Well, you can't go down. You can only go up from the balcony. Or you can only go down from the balcony, I should say. Let's go out to Sangertown, SWL 14.
SWL 14, checking in.
Hey, sounding good. My noise level is super duper low. Sounding good last night on the sideband net, and likewise here on the AM. Thanks for checking in, and we should be able to get a couple radios in before the malfeasance, I hope.
Break.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Looking forward to it.
All right, very good. The old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark, Channel 11, Central California. The breaker, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to check in. I mean, proxy a 49er. I don't know if he's going to check in or not. 49er, Smitty there, 10-4.
Okay, we'll get Smitty and Sweet Country Mama at the appropriate time. Thanks.
You.
Break.
The break, go ahead, over.
One element. Smitty, is good hearing you on that road talker, rocking and a-talking. And Dennis, thank you again for doing what you do best.
All right, the one element also sounding good on the AM side. Tonight here in the old Tube Radio Network, like all of us waiting for those tubes to start glowing. Tubes on the air. Let's go over to SWL. Where are we? 16. And right there, as always. And yes, I have it. All right. What they're doing is they're putting the pen. He gave me the pen early. Charlie gave me the pen, pocket protector pen, so I will not forget. It's right up here, so I shouldn't have to fish around with it. What's going on out there? Anything? A cool 5. Oh, holy cow! A cool 5 degrees in Minnesota. So make sure you have your gloves, or I don't know I don't know how to dress for 5-degree weather. I guess it's long underwear or something. It's not like we dress out here on the West Coast, that's for sure. Thanks, Charlie. Let's go to SWL 17.
break OTR.
Okay, I thought I heard 17 coming in. Who was the break OTR?
Hey, Dennis, I don't know if it's on my end. I've got your audio on the stream on YouTube, but no video.
Oh, all right. Let me see. I am going to thank you. I have a connection that says that there is connection. I see video. That doesn't necessarily mean it's there, but in theory, it's telling me that I am shooting some video. The other thing is, did I remember to put the... let me try it here. I know I always appreciate these technical things. Did I remember to put the... Hey, there it is. There's the confirmation. So I'm getting confirmation over. I always appreciate these technical things. All right, sometimes it's hard to know. Yeah, I just did a confirmation on both sides. So that, knowing my situation here, I'm surprised they can hear. You can actually hear me over the radio. All right, we'll refresh it or click on the link at oldtuberadio.net, which is what I did, and I did remember to put the right link, so it should come up.
You got it.
Let's try SWL 17 again, over. All right, I thought I heard you in there, SWL 17. Sounding good, Eric, Carolina Kid. Also sounding good last night on the sideband as well. Good to have you back on the YAM FM sideband frequently. Thanks for joining us. Over. All right, well, thanks to our tube operators, that will not be a problem at all. Checking in SWL 18, Mr. KDA from the Facebook. What kind of pencils are these? Is this a number? It's a number 2. It's like an oak lead. I'm pressing it and I'm barely getting any X's on my pages here tonight. Over to, where are we going? SWL 19. Right here with the, as always, with the cue cards tonight. Thank you, Chet. I always know what to say. Not because I know what to say, because I can read it. I can read it on the cue cards. I hope all is well there in Derby tonight. Don't know if you guys have 5 degrees. You know, I can't tell for sure what your temperature is out there, but hopefully it is nice. Let's go to SWL 20.
Number 20 here. I made it back from work, so please check me in 29 and 54 also, and because it's still cold, number 135.
Yeah, it's cold. We're going to have one of our coldest days. We're supposed to get rain tomorrow, right? And then Monday, and the end of the rainstorm is going to be very cold. So I think our snow level is coming down, maybe 2,500 feet. Our stations in Auberry, Coarse Gold might be heading for some snow. Well, good to have you in there. I had marked the proxy already in from last week, but you are there, so let me make sure that you are officially checked in and sounding marvelous. Over.
Alrighty, thank you. Since I just got in, I'm gonna get something to eat, but I'll be listening to the stream, and then I'll be back in here.
All right, well, let's see. I think we just confirmed that we're up on the audio and the video, so I shouldn't have a problem. Thanks.
You never have a problem. Okay. We'll catch you a little later.
Yeah, I wish this was never have a problem frequency. I've sort of did all the little precursor things that I'm supposed to do on the computer, but that doesn't guarantee anything. All right, let's go over to SWL 21. Back live and direct on Old Radio Night tonight from the Wasama Swamps of South Carolina. And if I click the right buttons, we can find out what was happening tonight out on Old Radio Night. I think I have to do, let's see, bring up some audio. I have to do this. Is it going?
Constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And I don't know anyone any better at giving me constructive criticism than Uncle Wagon.
Thank you, Uncle Wagon. Maybe I could get some constructive criticism on the pretty cool realistic. What is that? Realistic
okay.
449.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't.
Second generation
'Cause
muted
I'm
and
running
prototype.
Cat 5 cable, Cat 6 cable out here, and
With the 858
upgrade.
chassis. Everybody liked that unit and chassis.
And I'll be right back.
I guess it
Be
was.
right back, White Dog.
I guess it was easy on that unit and chassis to do channel, extra channels and things like that. Cool looking radio. I like the chrome and the front end. Radio Shacks had some pretty. They had a lot of radios. All right, the old radio night. Check it out if you don't. I know a lot of you stop by, stay up late with us after old radio night because JT gets you fired up. He gets you all fired up so we can come over to the tube radios. Mr. JT, you are checked in. Thanks. And you're sounding good. Let's go to SWL 22. Oh, and you know what? I think Tyler is going to be joining us on the Echo Link side. So I'm going to break here for a second and fire up the Echo Link. Did I remember to put the... Hey, there it is. There's the confirmation. So I'm getting confirmation over. So I appreciate these All right, sometimes it's hard to know. Yeah, I just did a confirmation on both sides. So that, knowing my situation here, I'm surprised.
Good evening, Dennis.
You can
Not
actually
sure
hear
if
me
it's my
over
turn
the
to
radio.
talk or
All
not,
right,
but
we'll,
good evening and thanks for running the show here.
Refresh it or click on the link at oldtuberadio.net, which is what I did. Yeah, the KB6GFD. Tyler, it is your turn to talk. I had some extra audio that I had to get rid of there, but I think it's okay. So go ahead and take a transmission. KB6GFD over. All right, I had some extra audio I had to get rid of there, but I think Tyler's going to join us right now.
All right, same here. And mute one and turn up the other one. But good hearing you out there. You're looking good, sounding good. Thanks for running the net tonight there, Dennis. Sounding good.
Oh. All right, and likewise, what is the temp? What is the temp? We're all complaining that it's cold here. When it gets down to 35, what's the temp? Maybe you're having a heat wave up in Anchorage. Back to you, over.
Yes, sir. We're actually having a heat wave. It's today. It's about 30 degrees. We had 40 degrees and raining past couple days, and it cooled back down to about 30. Dips to about 15 in the late evening and jumps right back up to 30 and 40 again in the daytime. So it's been some crazy weather up here. Back to you, Dennis.
All right, the crazy weather frequency. Got you checked in. Thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network 73, KB6GFD. All right, and I have what appears to be a blank screen, so I can fix that. There are some properties that are out of whack, so let me see. I think this is what we should be seeing if I click on that. Yeah, there's the Orban loudness meter. So a way to set up the audio between all the links here, between the Echo link, between the crossband, between the receiver, between my audio and whatever else comes in. Trying to get those LKFS numbers, the level, or LUFS, level under full scale, which is 0. Get them all to match fairly close so that when you're listening back on the playback or listening and you don't have somebody that's really loud or really unloud. It's 23 Skidoo is out somewhere in the secret, the super secret. We know Batman had the Batmobile, the Monkeys had the Monkey Mobile. I can't remember what the Green Hornet had, but I know that 23 Skidoo has the Skedaddulator. So out there doing their thing. But I will find you, Mitch, because I didn't. I know you had a comment, and we'll see what is going on out there somewhere. They go by so fast. All right, so let's go over to SWL 24. back to the right page here. I believe it would be that one right there, and over to this page. So we've got 22. Tyler is in. 23. Skidoo is also in. 24 might be showing up if he's not already in the horizontal position for an early call. Let's go to SWL 25. I've got a note to get Jerry and Jill checked in because Jerry is performing tonight. The Donnie Reb Band is actually performing, and I don't know what town. I can't remember what, but he's got the guitar and the bass and the drums, and they're doing some music tonight, which is a good thing. Over to SWL 27.
27, checking in via the FM cross.
All right, I think I heard 27 via the crossband. Yeah, I hear you out there. You're sounding good on your 2-meter tube radio, over.
Roger. Thanks for checking me in tonight, Dennis. KI6.
All right, you are sounding good. KB6GFD. All right, 27 via the crossband. Sounding good. He's in studio. Well, I don't know if the 2-meter radio is in studio G or not, but it is sounding good. Let's go to SWL 28. And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
24, checking in.
All right, 24, you're right on. I'm on the same row, so I'll just move over a couple of notches and put the X in the square. Hope you're doing well, Joseph, and thanks for checking in. And I know there's some early check-ins on the video side, which we will get. So we've got a proxy check-in for SWL 29, still awaiting SWL 10 and 30. Hopefully they get to the radio room in short order. SWL 31. Shortwave listener 32. SWL 33, myself, Bozo Control, and the whole gang here at the Old Tube Radio Network Control, all wishing you a good rest of your weekend, or what, if it's not your weekend, just a good week ahead. At the virtual microphonium, as Motormouth Mall would say, right here, right now. SWL 34. Hello, Jimmy. Captain Chaos and the gang. Good to have you back in the air chair. And probably got a lot of work to do. Got a lot catching up on all the pages and everything, but a little bit at a time. Looks good. Thanks for being out here tonight, and all the stations that join us from the various Facebook pages. Thanks for stopping by to the Old Tube Radio Network, and hope that you can, or maybe you do, participate in a similar get on the air night, whether it doesn't matter what type of radios, but just to get people to turn that knob, put down the phone and turn on the radio for just a little bit. Thanks, Jimmy. SWL 35, Mr. Bill checking in earlier over at oldtuberadio.net from snowy Cheyenne. I bet that there's a lot of snow on the ground over there. Probably no stranger to 5 degrees. Let's go to SWL 36. What was that? Alpha Kilo 295, completing. Yeah, I see. I didn't complete John's sentence, and I just got down. Well, a lot of people get down. And I don't know if you have to get up to get down, or you can just get down and stay down. SWL 37.
Was that 37?
The number 3 and the number 7. Hello, radio.
I was out in the garage. I was in here a minute ago, and I walked out right quick, and I come in and you just said my number. Thank you, Dennis. I made it in time. SWL 37, present and here.
Yeah, that was perfect timing. See, after doing this for 30-something years, you've got it down. It's just a natural thing.
Well, we ain't going to say how many 30-something years, are we?
It's an instinct now. Over.
Yeah, well, it's a good instinct.
It is. It is. All right, we got you checked in, so back to it. Maybe we'll catch you when we start glowing in the dark.
We're going to do our darndest. And I'm not going to go running through some uranium mine just to make myself look green, but I'm going to try.
All right, well, what is it, that frog that said it ain't easy being green? Thanks for checking in.
Okay.
37 is in. Let's head over to the station that always gives us a call. I'm listening, but I think, speaking of Motormouth Mall, I think I would need a stacked set of whatever that antenna, whatever that monstrosity antenna that he has. I'd have to have stacked those and point it towards Byron, California to hear Sam. But we are hopeful. SWL 38. And there's the guy that I can often hear, or sometimes he gets a 10-5 from our stations in Sanger, SWL 39. Hello, Dan. And the station I can hear when he's out of the basement, SWL 40. And he might stop by on the video side. We will stand by. Yeah, check in whenever and wherever you can. Where are we going? Way over there. That away. And until we can't go any farther. SWL 41 Road Dog 507 joining us, of course, from Hudson Valley, New York. Good evening to everyone. And the Tri-County React doing their thing. Thanks, sir. Over to SWL 42. SWL 43. SWL 44. I think he was on a horizontal. I should go to the wire. I should go to my horizontal wire and give a call for 360. Might actually hear me for once. Over to up the hill away, SWL 45. I don't think it's snowing up there yet, Paul, but I bet it's cold. Hello, radio. I can hear you, Paul. 45 sounding good. Over. All right, hope you and Kelly are doing good. Stay warm. It's going to get cold up there. Thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network. Over to SWL 46. Shortwave listener 47. Uh-oh. 47 is there, although if there's audio, it's very low. Try it again. Keep an eye on the wiggle meter. Over. All right, well, you are there, but not hearing the audio, so pick a test channel of your choice and come back. Come back and say hi, won't you? Anyway, I've got you checked in. Over.
Yeah, thank you. I can't remember what was wrong with this, but there it is, from the radio lounge.
We can do it that way, too. See, now there's a smart radio operator. If it doesn't work on AM, it might work on FM or the auxiliary channel or the back door or the side door. I don't know what we call it here on the Old Tube Radio Network. You are sounding good, sir, and I've got you checked in. KB6GFD. All right, Mike checking in with a CW. He's checking in CW, a very long carrier, continuous wave there on AM, and deviating the frequency modulation on sideband. Let's go to SWL 48. Shortwave listener 49. And I do have a proxy check in for Brian and Sweet Country Mama, so we'll get that. Over to SWL 50.
50 here checking in, and would you also proxy 650?
All right, 650 will do. And 50 at the microphonium. Sounding good. Mark, thanks. And let's see, I finally found the Skedaddle Mobile. Mitch, I'll put the X in the square, checking in from beautiful, and I think it's still there. I don't think it has washed away, although I see parts of things, washing into the ocean. From Santa Cruz, home of the majestic mud ducks of Monterey Bay, with a quack quack here and a quack quack there. All right, thanks, Mitch. Let's go over to SWL 51.
SWL 51, checking in.
SWL 51 from near Sangertown 305. Sounding good as always. Thanks for joining us. Okay. We can try. Were I to actually to have my set ready, we can try some more Echolink for the golden microphonium of SWL 52, KB6 GFD.
And good evening, Dennis, and everyone else on the net. From behind the golden microphone, SWL 52 in West Fresno.
And it's good to know that West Fresno is still around on the map. Central Fresno, or Midtown. I don't even know if this is Midtown anymore. Midtown is probably up near River Park, but sounding good on the Echolink 73. And thanks for joining us, KB6 GFD. Mr. Belair, Bob checking in as 53, as he always does earlier, sounding good. Over to SWL 54 up on page 3. I'm getting a virtual check-in for Mr. Board Jammer, and another guy responsible for a lot of the stations, a lot of the local radios that you hear on the old Tube Radio Network, keeping them peaked and tweaked and up to date. Let's go way up the hill, where it's definitely going to be snowing if it isn't already, up to SWL 55. And then where it never snows, except on the Never lands, on the miniature lands, it could snow. It could snow down there, but I'm sure it doesn't snow outside. SWL 56.
Just for kicks, Dennis. No snow here.
All right, I remember driving up, when was it the TV station, we had to service we had a camera up at the ski lodge up there near Huntington Lake, whatever it was called, China Peak, I don't know what they called it, but anyway, Sierra Summit. And when you drove up there and we walked up to the spot, there were these things that looked like R2-D2 with these pipes running, and apparently those were the snow-making machines. Because if it gets cold enough, you can throw some water out there and spew it out, and it makes snow. So here's to the snow-making machine of Gazebo Garden. Thanks, Phil. Oh, I do see Hello Radio. I see Dwayne. Everyone have a good evening. Number 10 and 30 are busy doing other things. So thanks for stopping by. I always appreciate people that, when it's like, there's stuff you got to do. Understand that, but you actually still run into the radio room and say hello, radio, and to all the people here on the old Tube Radio Network. So Dwayne and Chrissy, we've got you. We will catch you next week, and hopefully whatever project you are working on is going well. Over to SWL 57. The Brown Dog Audio station from, where is BDA? Central Kentucky. I'll have to make sure that he hasn't checked in earlier and scrolled past my screen. SWL 50, I give a proxy in for Jeremy. Apparently he did make some contact with us, some radio contact, right here. On 11 meters and 10 meters through the skip. Good deal. Over to SWL 59, and you know what? I think we have another opportunity. No, we don't. I was thinking, I don't know why, Uncle Hairball. I thought you were on Echolink, but I think you are right there. Yeah. UDX 786 is right there on my video screen. So let me say KB6GFD. Sorry about the transmission. And SWL 59 Uncle Hairball. Hello, radio, and the X is in the square. It appears that I almost know what I'm doing. SWL 60. Hello, Joe.
Hello, Dennis, and hello, everyone out there. SWL 60 checking in on the 2901 base, the 2527, Dennis.
All right, always sounding good. Thank you, Jake, for doing your thing, and Joe as well for keeping it up. Got 60 with the X in the square. Thank you.
Oh, thank you much, and yeah, you're right about that. Thanks to Jake.
Yeah, on our lists from way back. Let's go to, wonder what antenna. Well, what's the antenna du jour out that way? SWL 61. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm not making it out that way to Copenhagen. SWL 62, King Duckford. Shortwave listener 63, Butterbean out in North Georgia. SWL 64. And Craig is right there saying good evening to the Old Tube Radio Network and all the Tube Radio operators and listeners. Thank you for checking in. Looking good. SWL 65. Shortwave listener 66. SWL 67, got a check-in for Bill up in Canby, still noting some internet wackiness issues. Over to SWL 68. And Michael was in. He was in earlier, said get an early check-in. So here's your regular check-in, but we do it early. Or we do it on time, but you were in early, no problem. Also in early tonight from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Kenny, who you might have heard. Were you to listen in, and we probably got it in the archives from 10 years ago or something, Kenny checking in as SWL 69. I should find that. I should go back and see if I can get an audio of Kenny actually checking in, and then I can I can surprise him and play him checking in from Tulsa. Let's go over to SWL 70. And I will refresh my comments to see what is going on in Dallas, Georgia. I was not on the HF bands too much today. I did a little bit of 40-meter ESSB work, but I didn't have time to do some of my favorite 10-meter AM, and I know it was open. Stan, what is going on? Checking in, working the WFD. Oh, that's right. It's the winter. How could I miss this? It's Winter Field Day. SSB today and RTTY on Sunday. So, all right, Stan. Yeah, check out Winter Field Day. And that's right, one of the stations, Al in Camarillo was out doing, the West Coast version of Winter Field Day. All the guys, on the East Coast are, in the tents and huddled up and turning on the tube radios to stay warm. And here on the West Coast, our Winter Field Day, Al, AI6J, was out in his mobile on the coast at the beach, enjoying Winter Field Day. So that's how you do it here on the West Coast. All right, Stan, good deal. Let's go to SWL 72. SWL 73. And I'll get John checked in. He's probably doing Winter Field Day. We've got a proxy check-in for SWL 74. I wanted to say hello, SWL 5, Levon. High temp of 57. Today clouds rolled in and changes took place. Now it's 36 degrees. That thing's happened. It happens. It's called the weather, right? So, here in Fresno during the winter or during the summer, the weather is 100 degrees. No problem predicting that. But yeah, wintertime, you got to be good. Let's go to SWL 75. over to SWL 77. You know, Dennis was out there earlier doing some antenna checking. I'm going to get him checked in. I was kind of curious. I know he had like a loop or wire. I wanted to do some cross polarity stuff. See if it actually makes a difference. Let's go to shortwave listener 78. From Wild Wildemar. I'll see if Richard is in tonight. SWL 79. That's Mr. DC. SWL 80. Let's see, who is out there joining us at the .net? Hello to Kerman. Up in the balcony, Kerman, the unknown SWL. You can come down here. Just, make sure the bag doesn't fall off your head. Florence, Kentucky. Boulder Creek, California. Up there, Boulder Creek was pretty cool. Off there, off that Highway 9? Or is it 17? I think it's off at Highway 9. Squamish, BC. You guys have moved down to the mezzanine. You got the wheels. You got wheels on the card. Inez, Kentucky, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Hermosa Beach, Belfast, Maine, right here. Bowling Green, Van Man, and the gang. Who else? Going to take another long transmission. Popcorn 913. So, hello to all those tiny text people. Yeah, see, that's the thing. When I'm trying to read the comments, that's why I'm always stumbling, because they're way, way, way over here. And occasionally, Charlie or Chet will point down at the screen like, look at your comments. But man, they're in 8-point type, and they're far away. So if I read things wrong or I say your name wrong, that is why. Alpha Kilo 295, Popcorn 913, UDX 483. Thanks for joining us tonight. Who is that? Blackrin Ruse, Mark S. Thanks for joining us tonight. A lot of stations stop by the Old Tube Radio Network, even Northern Redneck on a late on a Saturday evening, waiting for those tube radios to show up. Foxman 362, thanks for joining us. Made a contact to Arizona yesterday on 26805. Okay. On FM. Hey, Larry. Hello, Larry in the land of Oz. Yeah, I've got the J38 key here, and it's working pretty good. Ralph Crash 350, thanks for joining us. Who else? 2W 2600 in Pittsburgh. Hello, thanks Yank for stopping by the Old Tube Radio Network tonight, joining us. It's pretty cool. I still think in cycle 225 we're going to have some good late night conditions. Hello, CB Lounge 2112. John F. Jukebox 502 in Nineland. Thanks for joining us. And Doug, thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. And a host of Rusty Rails. Greetings for old radio fans. Been a great last few hours on the radio, but we had to clear out to catch OTR. Wow, it's like a thing. I do the same thing. I have to think, I have to clear out to catch OTR, and then I realize that I'm on it. So, and so are you. So thanks for joining us. All right, a short break, and then we'll see what's happening with Bob and Steve, speaking of OTR. And you are indeed listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
27.085 OTR, Channel 11.
Where at this time, as we always do, joining Bob and Steve, saw them out working on the limos today. Just a little, spiffing up and little bit of their vacuuming on some of the red carpet, polishing up the chrome, looking pretty good. Episode 152 for January 28th, 2023. This Thursday, coming up Thursday, February 22nd, Groundhog Day, that's right. In Pennsylvania, Punxsutawney Phil has become a popular tradition. On February 2nd, people within the city will gather to find out whether or not Phil's shadow is revealed. With that, he will allegedly determine whether spring will soon begin by not seeing his shadow, or if winter will ensue for 6 more weeks, I guess by seeing his shadow, recognizing the shadow. I scare myself when I see my shadow. Punxsutawney Phil's statistics are kept by the Pennsylvania's Groundhog Club. I wonder if they have a ham radio version or a CB radio version of that. Phil will be wearing his OTR shirt. That is good. I hope we have provided him the proper size. At the bar tonight from Portland, Oregon, Elmer's Restaurant, half ham sandwich. I like the alliteration. Now, whether I'll like the sandwich, they'll probably have to leave a few things off, but I bet I will. Served with your choice of Northwest fries or creamy coleslaw, substitute sweet onion rings, or beer battered fish. No, let's not talk about the fish. And chips, fish and chips served with the Northwest fries and creamy coleslaw. Add a cup of Ivar's famous clam chowder seasonal soup or yellow bowl dinner salad. That sounds pretty good right there. Yes, we treat you right. Bob and Steve treat you right here on the Old Tube Radio Network, because drinks are on Bob and Steve. And of course, do not forget to feed the fish.
27.085 OTR Channel 11.
Back in a moment. Whoopee indeed. Back to the radio room. And the Searsucket Suit Pocket Protector. We are, checking in SWL 81, Steve Areno. Let's see if SWL 82 is around. Over.
82 checking in from the Ditch Banks of Biola, and good evening to everybody out there.
All right, I wanted to put the S meter up when you check in, so I'll have you take another transmission, but if you check the replay, you'll see it looked pretty good. I actually like what I was seeing there. Ron, of course, Mr. Bones, the purveyor of the Ditchbanks sideband net on Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Pacific time on your 36 lower sideband. We had some stations checking in from the coast, from Santa Cruz, and I don't know where it was. There was a couple of stations out that way. For the guys that were in the hills, we're saying they got some good stations out there. So anyway, Ron, take another transmission. I'll put the S meter up.
Yeah, and anyway, had a good turnout last night, and did a little talking after the net, and did some for sales and one items, and anyway, it was a good turnout and enjoyed by all.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, anyway, sounding good. Got you checked in. The AM is nice and smooth. Looks good on the meter. So thanks for joining us here on the double sideband AM and carrier inserted net. Over.
All right, Dennis. Take care and have a good net tonight. Maybe we'll fire something else up here.
All right. Well, that would be a good thing. And yeah, Mark, I agree. Mark S. there. Citizen band equals $0 per month. You never get a bill, you know, for tuning in OTR, the Ditchbank sideband net, or Old Radio Night. A bill never shows up at the end of the month for your usage. Use as much as you want. Let's go to SWL 83. SWL 84. And Cherry was up there this week on 40 meters. I will get the gang 84, Cheerios Kid, and 86, 87, and 88, the Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl, respectively. Let's go to SWL 89. SWL 90. And the station that never misses a beat on OTR. It's another station that has that instinctual, that OTR is on, no matter what's going on, no matter where he's at. OTR's right there. The check in the square saying to hello to SWL, the old tube radio operators. Thanks, Felix, for joining us from way far away. Looking good and sounding good as always. Let's go to SWL 92. SWL 93. And Van Man saying when he added the Heath kit, my electric bill went $40 a month. Yeah, the ones with the tubes or DX100 connected to an SB220. That'll raise your power bill. Let's go to SWL 95. Warthog 95 saying hello radio, of course, from beautiful Orlando, Florida. Thank you. Thank you, 95. Let's head out to the fields of Kerman, I think. SWL 96. Hello, Dennis. Might not be making it, the fields of Kerman. SWL 97. Jim, Boston 97. And 97 is checking in. Hello, radio. Over to who else? Oh, we got a couple of Echolink links still coming in. I will say hello to Radio Randy. I will get him checked in. Talked to Randy earlier today on 40 meters. He was up on 10 meters. Said he talked to Italy. Some East Coast stations on 10 meter AM up on the window at 29.0, 29.010. He's got a nice 7-element beam, or at least 7 elements on 10 meters. Doing a good job. So Radio Randy working the AM, working the YAM up there on 10 meters. And speaking of radio stuff, let's fire up the Echolink link and head out to the land of tubes as well. Standing by in McClellanville, South Carolina. KB6GFD. Hello, Tony. May have a bit of a delay, but Tony is out there on the Echolink link, so we'll take a standby on that. Let's try SWL 102. That would, of course, be John in Scranton, Arkansas. Who else is out there? He's right there. He's right on that little tiny font they were talking about. Got the headphones on, listening to you in stereophonic sound, as the great one used to say. How sweet it is! All right, for those of you, you knew I was going to do this if you said that. For those of you who are listening in stereophonic sound on the headphoniums, or I don't know if you would tell on a phone, but if you've got a bigger screen, for those of you over the radio, there will be no difference. And if there is, talk to me about it, because we can make some money on this. All right, so let me grab the right control. For your stereo enjoyment, here is your left channel. This is your OTR left channel, radio. And this should be your OTR right channel, radio. We are in stereo on the web. I put on the stereo thing, and then back to stereo, but monorally balanced. Because I think it actually does sound a little bit better for the radio's checking and to have that stereo turned on, because it gets a little bit of a, I don't know, you can hear it. Maybe I'll try putting one of those Radio Shack stereo enhancers on the thing. All right, John, thanks for noticing. Let's go to SWL 103. Yeah, see, now you got to know, and I think I'm pretty good on the right and left channel. I could be off too. I could be, don't use me as the test channel for whether the left and right balance is correct. Let's go to SWL 109.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
109, sounding good. I don't know if you guys are going to get some snow up there in this storm. I know it's going to come down low, but just key up the radio a couple times. That will take the snow off the antenna. You are sounding good. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis, and you're sounding good tonight.
All right, it is hard for me to sound good. So what I do is I put on a tie, and I hope that people will not notice. But you notice, so thanks. All right, let's go over to SWL 110. SWL 111. Was Robert in early tonight? He checked in live and direct from Reedley last week. I'm looking to see if he's showing up on. I don't see him on the other page. That's from last week. So, all right. If Reedley Town is in there, we'll pick him up. SWL 113. That's Tom in Sanker. I'm going to give Tom a check-in. He was in on the early risers net. And I heard him and Tony gave him a check-in. In fact, Tony will be joining us shortly on the Echolink, see how things are going up there. So I was actually able to get on the Friday morning net. Let's go to Rickshaw, SWL 114.
114, checking in.
As always, I think it's the 2000, sounding good. We've got an X in the square. Thanks, Wayne, for joining us.
Thank you, Dennis.
Where are we going? Up to 128. John in Fairfax, Virginia, who isn't in this. He may be working. He may be out at field day or doing something like that. Somebody walked in the door up in the balcony. San Bernardino. Thanks for joining us. The famous Frank Zappa song. Somebody out there in San Bernardino. Let's go to SWL 131. All right. Also joining us, coming through the side door, Wild Wildemar. Windy and cold. Wild Wildemar. Yeah, Richard, we're going to get cold weather here in Central California. It already is. We're going to have some rain, and it's probably going to be snowing in the almost low elevations. Oh, I want to say hello, radio, to Big Rich 6520, taking off the headphoniums and setting down all the stuff to stop by the Old Tube Radio Network. So thanks for joining us. And I see a couple of stations on Echolink coming up. Let's try Dave, Dr. Dave out there, SWL 133. Got a proxy check-in for SWL 135, Mr. Green Arrow. SWL 137. And let me give a call out to Tony, AJ6PD. Let's see if we can get Tony on the Echolink link from KB6GFD. And we'll see if we can get Tony from his remote location on Echolink SWL 145. Normally in Coarsegold. And we'll see if we can get Tony from his remote location on Echolink SWL 145. Normally in Coarsegold.
Having a little trouble connecting on Echolink this evening, Dennis, but it sure works a lot better on Saturday nights than on Friday nights, Roger.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Well, it's that echo thing. It's that echo thing going on, but I didn't have any problem Friday connecting in. So you are sounding good, Tony. Have a good respite out there, visiting the family and whatnot, and we will catch you hopefully next Friday. Over. KB6GFD.
Okay. AJ6 PD, and I'm clear.
All right, so tuning on the Echolink SWL 147. Neil checked in as 00, and at 147 again up there in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Over to shortwave listener 188. Hello, Bobby, if you're out there.
Good evening time, Dennis. Good evening time to all the SWLs. 188 checking in.
All right, sounding good. Got you with the X in the square. Over.
10-4, good evening time.
Yeah, doing the Echolink thing is weird because of the delay on the video. So I try to sort of pre-key the Echolink. So if you know you're coming up, you can turn the video down. Because I try to give enough lead time and then just go straight over to the Echolink, and then you'll hear me talk in real time. It's the same thing we have at the radio station. We run a 20-second delay when we're doing callers, because just in case, one of our callers were to actually say one of those 7 deadly words that you can't say on the FCC, I have a little button that I've got this 20-second buffer that I can get rid of the word. So it's sort of the same thing. It's very difficult. We always have to remind our callers to listen to the phone and turn down the radio. One of those, I don't know, it's the 21st century. You'd think we would have figured out a better way to do the delay thing, but it's hard to do. All right, no delay here. Up the hill we go to where I don't think it's snowing just yet. SWL 195, hello, Jim up in Corscold.
Hello, Dennis. Not snowing yet. It was a beautiful day today, so good evening to you, and we'll be checking in.
All right, sounding good. Got an X in the square. And doggone it, Rich, up in the balcony, they're having Ovaltine, and I'm down here. Charlie says, okay, maybe we can bring you some. Well, I've got my water, so don't worry. Ovaltine for all. Thank you, Jim. Let's go over to Mr. Shockwave, SWL 226. And Cornbread, you are right. That is FRES, capital N, capital O. Anybody else needing to check in before we switch to the tube radios?
Number 7.
Number 7. Beauty must let me go up there, put the 7 in the box and the X in the square and say hello, radio. Back to you. Over.
And hello, radio and OTR net control. Yeah, I just got back from Santa Cruz playing some disc golf, so I'm kind of tired. I think I may not even get to where you get the tubes going, so I may just crash out early.
All right, yeah, grab the Ovaltine with something good in it and do all the things that didn't get done that are waiting for you to do, and like you said, to crash out. But again, and we mentioned this earlier when we had a couple other stations just kind of pop in and pop out. We really appreciate people just stopping what they're doing and coming in here and saying hello to the old Tube Radio Network gang. So you are checked in.
Thank you, sir. Good night and good evening to all the SWLs.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, well, before we sign out here, let me try one. Let me try one more Echolink thing. There's another station in there. Charlie is joining us. I don't know where he's from, but it appears that it might be up that way in Alaska. So, Charlie, if you're directed over to the Echolink link, give us a call here. KL5 Charlie from KB6 GFD, over. And I never know how much delay we have or have not. It depends on my latency and how people are listening in. And there's Charlie. Take a transmission. Oh, all right, didn't make it. It knocked him off the air. All right, we're going to be back with the Tube Radio's standby. OTR back in a moment.
Sorry about that, Dennis. I think he's having technical difficulties. Yeah,
he was there. I saw I saw the transmitter come up, but there was no audio. Interesting. All right, I'm going to set it for the tube radios, but we'll keep the Echo link open here when we get a lull in the action. KB6GFD.
Transmitting. I'm having a hard time here trying to figure this thing out. KL5C, thank you very much. Sorry about the inconvenience here. Trying to figure this link out.
Wow.
Yeah, it can get kind of goofy between when you're transmitting and when you're not transmitting, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, it can get.
Wow.
And when there's echoing going on. All right, doing a couple of other things here, and we'll get to the tube radios. All right, it just may work on your old tube radio network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The old tube radio network.
Hello, radio, your old tube radio network. Real radios glowing in the dark, and we will have some real radios coming up. I know they are in the wings. It is cold here in the Central Valley of California, so a lot of stations turning up their radios tonight. We are here, Channel 11, and join us at oldtuberadio.net on the YouTube video or live and direct on Channel 11 right here. OTR is standing by waiting for radio check-ins. All right, and did I hear, was that 14 over?
Yeah, 14.
All right, stand by. Coming up on the band, and we'll take you here. My receiver is still quiet, over.
Good. That'll make it hopefully nice and clear tonight.
Well, we'll see. I got like maybe 2 minutes before the item checks in. So get your radio ready. But let me try YouTube here. Hello, Tony. I think you are back. So hopefully there's not some internet malfeasance, over.
Sure, there's a lot of noise out there.
Sorry I'm late, Dennis. Had some things pop up. Could you please check in SWL 100? And you sounded good tonight, sir.
All right, thank you. We will get 100 checked in, and perfect timing because we are about ready to fire up our first tube radio. Thanks for joining us, and you are checked in. KB6GFD.
OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead.
131, checking in late.
Okay, no problem, Mr. Wood. We've got you checked in 131, over.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, and Sean, thank you for standing by. Sort of like Union Station here, trying to get all these stations checked in on time. 131 is in. Take a transmission from Sanger Town and tell us your radio. My Rolodex is working. The pages aren't falling out, and we'll find it, over.
Yeah, I'm on the Cobra Cam 88 tonight.
All right, I think they put that under B and K. And so I will look there first because it's always easier to find it in the first section. And there it is. Bring it up. Courtesy of Mark out in Five Land, showing us the two forms of Cobra radios with the mod light and the range expand range gain, and without it. So which version is yours, with the switch or without? Over.
Yeah, mine has the Dynaboost switch below the modulation light.
All right, and they call it Dynaboost?
Correct, Dynaboost.
That was the famous song, Dyna Won't You Boost. The Cobra's sounding good, super good audio. They have great fidelity, low, high. The microphonium you have is question mark, over.
Yeah, the microphone is the stock B&K microphone.
Oh, really? All right, let me see. I'm going to go back in my collection of stuff. I don't show it. I do not show it with showing what microphone it is, but it looks like it has the standard 4-pin connector. So, boy, not bad at all. And, of course, the Dynaboost helping. That's why they put that in there. You didn't really need to have an amplified microphone with the thing. You could probably use a nice, properly impedance studio microphone and just roll some Dynaboost on it. You never know. But anyway, sounding good. Good signaling here tonight, over.
Yeah, I enjoy the radio. It's a nice radio to listen to, and you do not have to fiddle with it. You just put it on the channel you want, and that's pretty much it. Let it do the rest.
The way it should be, glowing in the dark. From B&K Cobra. I think after this they went to the 98, and then there was no more tubes. But back in the day, does your modulation light blink when you talk? Does it actually function?
Yeah, it blinks and glows brighter and dimmer.
Okay, dim and glow, bright and dim, MOD. And that's back in the day, MOD mod. When this radio came out, there was this television show called The Mod, M-O-D, The Mod Squad. So it is perfectly ready, and it does seem a little bit mod. Radio number 1, the B&K Cobra Cam 88, beaconing and doing a fine job of it here into Midtown Fresno. Back to you for transmission, and thanks for sneaking in.
Yeah, appreciate the time, Dennis, and I hope everybody out there has a great evening.
All right, so far so good here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Let me try a quick echo link again for X4000. Just say hello up from the other stage and introducing us to the Tube Radio. So hello X4000 night. Hope all is going well. It's KB6G update.
Well, hi, Diddly Ho from KM6LW. Just wanted to let you know we got on the screen here, the giant monitor, and keep the tabs on the old tube radios with you.
A fun thing to do sometimes on a Saturday evening. The tube radios keep you warm. Oh, and mark this down, post it, Isotron. We're thinking about antennas. Check out the Isotron. They make them specific for frequencies, but maybe like the 40 meter or something. Anyway, we'll talk later. ISOTRON. That might be just the ticket. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Real radio's glowing in the dark. And let's see, what wasn't transmitting to X4000, the Isotron is that antenna you want. KB6GFD. And we are listening for Radio 2. Go ahead, over.
Very good. I'll put that in the Universal Media Network and see what comes up. Let's get on with your business.
All right, that station is a little bit in my noise, but try it again. I will see if I can pull you through. Over. All right, 17, and what is the radio you are on? You are just in my noise level because my antenna is low. Over. Yeah, it actually did help a little bit. Tell our listening audience the radio on which you are transmitting. Over. All right, and so I can procure the proper transmitting device. Is it the 23 or the 40 channel Model T? Over. All right, not that there would be any big difference. Let's see, courtesy of Steve. Let me see if I've got one here for the screen. Cool Radio, I believe this is a Panasonic chassis, meaning it should have some possible plate modulation. Also, quite a bit of fancy. It's got a couple lights, got the fine tune, range. Is that the range boost? I'm going to give us a closer picture. Yeah, it's got the range gain underneath the meter there, so it is working over.
Roger, roger. This transmission is with the range gain on. I'm not sure if it works. It has in the past. Over.
Wow, it's working okay. You're slowly coming up in the audio department, and it's making it easier for net control to hear you. So a good deal, and a cool looking radio too. Over.
Roger, roger. Back in the day, this was an eBay purchase. However, it wasn't packaged properly. They got a little bit wrinkled up. However, having the cover off, looking inside, because I think I want to notice what's the time to get the receiver clear. Anyway, it appears to have all the original group.
And I put up the S meter just so people could see that even though you really aren't registering on the meter, that the audio is coming through off of that radio. Hello, tube radios with range boosts. They're doing the good thing. Let's see, tubes. It's 10 tubes. RF mixer, RF amplifier, 6 BA6, 12 AX7, final 6 BQ5. So yeah, that's one reason it is doing good with its 10 tubes. Over. Hey, I'm glad you brought it by, and the difference between when you first keyed up and now is just enough. It's just enough over the noise that I have no longer am straining a wee bit to hear you. It's perfect at like S2. T-Berry Model T. They made a 23 channel version. They made a 40 channel version, similar to what they did with the Robin T123B and the 240D. Eric, Mr. Carolina Kid, who has been checking in with the Old Tube Radio Network for, 30 years, a long time, and was one of our first stations. I can't be absolutely correct, because between the Green Arrow and Eric, back when nobody uses these things in the mobile, Eric was one of the first guys that, and he might have been in his Jeep, I don't know, but one of the first guys that said, you know what, these things go mobile, and I'm going to put up the antenna and do it. And Eric was one of our first mobile radio check-ins long, long ago. Radio number 2, the T-Berry Model T, the Jingle Singers Want to Say Hello Radio, and we will be right back on the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
Hopefully the station for you, and even you. OTR is standing by, listening for radio number 3. Yeah, good advice. Alpha Kilo 295. Don't be a meter watcher. Always listen for the audio, because especially radios like that T-Berry Model T and Regency Imperials that are doing these double sideband suppressed audio, you'll just hear it. And then you'll look over the meter and say, wow, it sounds like it should be S6. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it should be on the meter. Listen for the audio. Good item of interest. John, 102 saying that was his first CB back in the early 1980s on the classic Panasonic chassis. The Old Tube Radio Network listening. And let me go over to the SWL list. I see that 128 has stopped by his virtual radio, probably SWLing something, maybe listening to the Winter, WFD, right? Winter Field Day. John, we've got you checked in. As soon as I find the page for it to make it official, and hope all is well out where you are, OTR listening. Who else has joined us up in the balcony? Hello from Germantown, Wisconsin, one of our faithful digital listeners to the Old Tube Radio Network. If we did this during the daytime, we would definitely be hearing Wisconsin and Texas and Florida and all the good stations. Let's see. Oh, you know what I was going to take a look at here while we're standing by, and where did my page go? Some of the classic radios that showed up from our collectors this week. Let's see, I can find. Here's a great shack from Rick Graham. Let's see if I can get a good picture of this. Yeah, I'm gonna pop this over. There it is. And now there's a radio. Probably looks like homebrew cabinets there. They work. They hold the radios up. I see a Super Satellite Demco. There's the Eagle. This is the Tram TR27C or E. And then the Tram Titan or the Tram Titan 2. What a great station. Great looking station from Rick Graham. So, boy, I wish we could hear that. And right on top, I neglected to see the Demco modulator. I'm just wondering if that serves all radios if you want to. And they're also an RCA. It looks like the Mark 7 RCA. Nice stuff. And it looks like a ham radio set up there as well. Is that the Heathkit? Looks like one of the Heathkit lunch boxes. And a space ready to go. I like the custom thing. I did that too, where you build the shelf to fit the radio, and then if you change radios, you got to change things. But really good. Thanks, Rick, for letting us share this, and hope you make some good contacts. OTR is standing by, listening for radio number 3.
37. Break OTR 82.
All right, we've got 37. You will be radio number 3, Chris. And let's see, Ron, do you have a radio or do you have a comment?
82 has a radio to check in tonight.
Oh my gosh, yes you do. All right, you'll be radio number 4, so do not go away. Radio 3 stepping up into the green room air chair. Hello, Chris. Thanks for joining the Old Tube Radio Network. Take a transmission, if you will.
Oh, you know I will. Hi, Dennis. I want to check in the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. This is a 24-channel tuber that glows in the dark with you. And we are running this here with a non-amplified stock original microphone for the radio there. Over.
As they say, over. And it's so nice to have the Rolodex working and the radios back. So, again, thanks to Lone Eagle SWL3, Rob, for jumping in on on the Mystery servers and Frodex for it, getting those back up for our shortwave listeners and viewers to enjoy. The audio that you heard matches this radio, not the radio, but it matches a radio just like it, the General Radio Telephone from Burbank. This is in the early 70s, I believe, one of their last radios before they sold out to, was it Skyhawk Communications, the Super MC-11A, trying to compete with the Trams, trying to compete with the Brownings, trying to compete with the Sonars, the Regencies, and they did a good job with their configuration of tubes and some audio, as you will hear on this transmission. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's showing it's got 100% swing there. From what I see on my deal, it goes here from this, on my meter here, goes from 5 watts, hello, believe it or not, up to 20.
Yeah, really nice stuff. You know, the tubes, unlike the transistors, tubes saturate in a different way. They don't kind of clip off. They add a little bit of harmonic distortion, but in a good way. Their top-of-the-line radio, there were some mobile versions like the Vibration Service series, but love the rack handles, very utility. And this was pretty bold. Back in the days when they were starting to put the radios in wood cases and trying to get them, you know, inside the house, maybe that's, you know, one reason why they had an issue here. And they're really not an issue, but, you know, maybe, you know, the X-File said, I don't know, you know, I'd really like to have something with a wood case. If we're going to put it next to the, you know, RCA color television. But this sounds good and looks good. They still made it look good with green dial and the switches. All of 9 tubes working good. Take another transmission. You are radio number 3, and we appreciate you. I'm sorry. Yeah, you are radio number 3, and we appreciate you stopping by. Over.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Well, I'm going to check this one in here anyway. I'm going to be watching some of the old boob tube over here, but I want to get this one in here anyway. And I have to admit, that eagle that keyed up right after me, that sounds pretty darn good. So, Dennis, I'm going to be sitting by, and you take care, and thank you for checking me in.
All right, thanks for stopping by at the S meter up there. Back to the control room. I want to say hello to Miss Southern Bell, stopping by in the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Who else? Somebody else. Oh, Gary. Hello, Gary. SWL 28 will get you checked in, as well as Ron steps up into the air chair for radio number 4. But let me get 28 on the official overhead projector here, the overhead screen from Cool. You know, I talked to Gary checking in, said he couldn't get a signal in from Cool, California. I talked to a radio station in Cool a few weeks back, and I had to look it up. Said this guy, he's in Cool, California. There's no such place, but yes, indeed there is. And what is it, up near Sacramento area, up in that area, I do believe. So it's a cool thing. So, all right, thank you. Thank you, Gary, for checking in. All right, let's go back local for radio number 3 at approximately 9:30. Hello, Ron. Over.
Yeah, this here is Ron, SWL listener 82. And I think you said number 3, but I think I'm number 4. And we're on the Browning Eagle. The receiver is the R27, and the transmitter is the S23. So anyway, giving it a whirl tonight, and yeah, it looks like it's still keyed up, and it looks like everything's going forward, and the modulation is there. So hey, how about that?
Yeah, my lines are off here on my physical paper, but you are definitely radio 4 on the R27 S23 from Browning, the original Browning Eagle, not the Golden Eagle, but the Eagle, the first of their radios to have the Eagle monitor, which is, let me get the close-up here for those watching the video. It is on, what is that, the transmitter? Or is that no, it's on the transmitter, and it's sort of a silhouette eagle head, but it is there. And I don't know if it says Eagle anywhere else on the radio. It does say Browning. Nice radio. The one I'm showing belonged to Joe, and it turned out last week or a few weeks ago, Smitty got on there and said, "You know what? I bought a radio from Joe." So this radio is probably still around here in Fresno. We're also showing the 180, which is the business band amplifier. So putting out a good signal. Back to you. It sounds very good. Nice audio.
All right, thanks. Yeah, it does say Eagle. Yeah, Eagle S23, Eagle R27, and yeah, it's got a picture of the little. Looks like a chicken hawk to me, but yeah, it's an Eagle. Anyway, I forgot how much I missed talking on it, so I fired it up and only blew one circuit breaker out, so changed some things over, some plugs, and here we are.
Okay, it's never good when you blow a circuit. I think I tried one here with was it the 180, and it would blow a fuse too. There's something in there that was not quite right. But if you run it, you run it the way you know you should run it, it will work. The R27 S23 series, there was a Series 1 and Series 2, 1964 to 66. So this had quite a good run, almost 2 years. Price wasn't bad. For that time, it was a bit on the expensive side, but $359. It was top-of-the-line radio up there with the trams. The Browning Eagle Series 2 base station consists of the R27 Series 2 receiver and the S23 Series 2 transmitter. Some of the differences are larger meters, neon modulation indicator, and a lighted on the air light. So I guess we will defer to you to see if we're Series 1 or 2. If you have a neon modulation indicator, if you've got some orange blinky things going on there, if there is a lighted on the air indicator well, I don't know how you would know they were larger meters if you could compare them, but what do you think, a Series 1 or a Series 2 on your end? Over?
Well, my spot meter lights up, that's orange. I have the on the air, and the other light is the audio light, and the meter is right above it. So, yeah, it kind of looks like that one there that you had on there. Except the 180, my 180 theme is like a lot bigger, and I think it says Falcon on it.
And I think as they went along for their business band amplifiers, they sort of modified them to match the set. Now this 180, I noticed the knobs are similar. I think that's a way you can tell. You take a look at the knobs, and if the knobs on the business band amplifier matched the radio, then that's sort of the circa, the years that it came out to match the radio. So that's, I could think how you have a 180 that matches, or it came out at the same time as the radio. Yeah, there's the neon indicator on the transmitter and on the receiver. So yeah, you probably got a Series 2. I'm thinking, because most of the people that come on here always have a Series 2, so I'm thinking the Series 1s, they didn't make a lot of them, or they were probably just through 1964. If you go to oldtuberadio.com, you can get an operator's manual, although I'm sure you don't need it. You are doing a fine job for anybody else. Looks like there's a link to an operator's manual. Radio number 4, the Browning Eagle. Boy, one of the radios, 1964, 65, 66, that helped start it off. And what do I mean by it? I mean that citizen band radio craze. I know there weren't 4 million licensees back in that time, but give it 10 years. Take it to 1973 or 74, and it was a free-for-all. But this is back when people were saying, I can afford. We won't buy the color console television, this year. We will buy the CB radio, and a lot of people did. Now, over to you.
Yep, that's right. No touch screen on it, no waterfall, no digital readout either. But anyway, yeah, my 180 it's something else. It's a Golden Falcon, so kind of pretty close to it. But anyway, hey, thanks for running the show tonight, and man, it's been great checking into this old radio, and looking forward to hearing some of the other ones. So take care, Dennis, and on with the show.
Dennis?
This is the basic Dennis, over.
Ask him to look on the transmitter. Ask him if the spot button is metal or a little plastic push button.
The spot button is metal. The light is a little plastic orange one.
Okay. There are some that come with a spot button that's a little black plastic push button that you push in the spot. Most of them came with what you have.
Okay, yeah, that black, not black, but the silver metal one, it's heavy duty, man. It's like a starter on an old truck or something, and the power switches, it's a pretty heavy duty toggle switch, and then all the knobs are the right ones. They're the black with the gold around it. But yeah, so it's definitely a heavy duty spot button.
Roger. Early models came with the metal one, I believe, which is also on the 23S9 with the chicken head knob. They have the big metal one. When they went to the Golden Eagle, they went to the smaller plastic push button. So the S23 with the smaller plastic push button is a later model one.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, I'm learning something here. Well, my receive doesn't move too much, but man, it's you're coming in loud and clear, Harvey. Dennis is. Everybody is coming in great, and no preamp used on the amplifier side. So yeah, it's working really good tonight.
Sounds good at my place. Okay, I'm backing out.
All right, Harvey, thanks for that. And back to you, Dennis.
All right, thanks, Ron, and thanks, Harvey, for, as always, the good information. The Old Tube Radio Network, Radio 4, the R27, S23, one of our SWLs enjoying it, saying clean clean audio and no echo, Mike. Well, that is why we're here, to get the radios out. So drive them around the block, right? You know, there's got to be a spot that you can get off of the sideband channel occasionally and come down to AM like you might have done long ago, or you remember people doing, and turn the radios on. That is your Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks to all our stations that join us from near and far out. If you're at oldtuberadio.net on the YouTube video, we appreciate you joining us and your comments and helpful hints too. Hopefully you do something like this where you are at. The Jingle Singers will say a few words, and then we will be listening for Radio 5 on your Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
The Old Tube Radio Network, and as Tony says, Ancient Mary. Well, it depends on who you talk to. If you are an AM guy, because you hang out with the AM stations, and you are AM, you are Angel Music, and those other guys are SSB. They are slop buckets. But if you hang out on single sideband on SSB, then the guys that, you know, take up that 6 kilohertz or 7 kilohertz with their upper and lower sideband with the carrier inserted are Ancient Mary. I haven't heard that in a long time. We are listening for radio number 5 on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Can I sneak in again?
This is the sneak in frequency. Go ahead. Over.
Okay, Ron, are you still there? Ron!
And what if he's hooking up another radio?
Okay. If he looks on the back of his transmitter, center of the chassis, right below where the coax piece comes out, the actual piece of coax, it might say Series 1 in ink, in kind of big letters. Mine, because I have the plastic push button, says Series 2.
Where does it say that, on the back?
Back of the transmitter, in between the AC cord and the trap adjustment, the piece of coax that goes to the receiver comes out of the back of the radio, and right below it, printed in ink, it says, or stamped in ink, says Series 2. Now, I can't turn the receiver around, but I'm going to try and a little trick to see if I can read it, see if it's on the receiver, but it's definitely on the transmitter.
All right, interesting. Good deal. Well, don't do anything that's dangerous. And you know, my noise didn't come on tonight. It's 9:45 here on the West Coast, here in California, and my noise level is not at S7. So that stuff that turns on tonight, for some reason, it didn't come on, and that's a good thing.
So Series 2 on mine, Series 2.
All right! Even though we both have different spot buttons, yours says Series 2. All right.
All right, Harvey, thanks. Thanks for the info, man. That's cool. I checked it out, and yep, Series 2.
Can you see on your receiver if it says anything underneath? That I can't quite get my receiver to turn around. I could do the transmitter, but not the receiver.
Yeah, I didn't see nothing on the receiver, so I'll look again, but nothing on the receiver.
Okay, Series 2. I'm happy. You're happy. Alrighty, we're out.
And you know, Harvey, when you are happy, we are happy as well. The Old Tube Radio Network, looking for a Radio 5. And maybe I can do another, if I can find it here. We had that was such a great Radio Shack. Okay, here's another Radio Shack. This is going to be from Keith Pennington. Let me see if I can pull up the picture here. Oh, I should have had this up earlier. It's apropos for what we did earlier when Sean was on. There is a Cobra Cam 88. Looks like is it a 98? There's the 88. It's all Cobras with the Siltronics VFO. Nice station. You kind of get an idea of how large the radios are. Somebody said the wheels on the bus go round and round. I don't know the other number of that Cobra. I like the shack with the rough sun plywood and the hat and the lantern. Yeah, somebody knows how to take a shack picture, but cool stuff. Jumping into the Radio Shack of Keith Pennington and the Cobras. So hope to hear those on. We heard one of them tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network. We're standing by, listening, waiting for radio number 5. Over.
Well, I might as well do this one.
Yeah, okay. And because I'm sports challenged, the Super Bowl is not tomorrow, right? It should be sometime in February. And so all the football games are done.
AFC NFC championship game tomorrow.
Oh, all right. So does that determine? That's a championship game. So that doesn't determine who's going to be in the Super Bowl, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it does. See, I'm so stupid when it comes to sports. What do I know? All right, well, that's good. So that means a lot of people are going to be watching that game.
My two kids are, because even when they were very, very, very young, didn't understand what football was. They liked watching the Bengals because of the unique uniforms and helmets.
Yeah, all right. Oh, Knight. Yeah, thank you. That's the CB I was showing before. That blue one, I think, on the corner was the Knight. So, all right. High-priced beef. Harvey, go ahead. I've got spot number 5. In fact, we just wrote your name in. Uh-oh, wait a minute. I blew it in. Before you take a transmission, because I'm going to stay up, I did not. I turned on the E.F. Johnson behind me, but I did not do the pocket protector. And even after they put it up in front of me, and I will. Did the lights just go out? It looks dark in here. I will do the pen now. We are our sponsor tonight is Radio and TV Equipment Incorporated. Did you used to work for them, Harvey? Radio TV Equipment Incorporated, wholesale distributors on 2014 First Avenue South, Fargo, North Dakota. There we go. Let's let me get through the line there, but that light is right in the way. All right, and the camera's right here, so I can't. There it is. I'm trying to hold it up to the camera, but the less than stellar camera isn't working. But anyway, in the pocket protector it goes, and Harvey, take a transmission.
Okay. This is the Browning Golden Beagle R68 T68 from Browning Lavatories. And there we go. Custom D104 with the Browning medallion on the back there. And that's the way this thing came. Came with this microphone and transmitter receiver and 180 at a garage sale in Fresno.
Yeah, I love the garage sales. Always get some good radios at garage sales. And it looks like the R68 T68, the Golden Eagles, also had a Series 1 and Series 2. So, I mean, that speaks well for Browning. They didn't just put out the radio and say, okay, we're done, let's do something else. It was always, you know what, maybe we can tweak on this a little bit, or I don't know, maybe people sent them postcards saying, you know, it would be cool if this did this. Or they just had engineers that said, you know, we're putting this out, we know it's not going to be perfect, but we're gonna fix it for you and make you buy another radio. Over.
I have to check. In fact, I can get around to see the back of the other receiver and transmitter, see if they say Series 2 on them. This transmitter does not say Series 1 or 2 on the back. Excuse me. But I can check the other one just to see. Anyway, as far as I know, 2 different receivers as far as the RF gain controls, 2 different transmitters as far as the on-air and spotlight. So cosmetically, the transmitters are a little different, and same with the receivers, but they both work.
And they work well. All right, here's a question, and I always wondered why not, but remember we're doing 5 watts output here, and I'm thinking my HT37, my Hallicrafter's big 85-pound, you know, running the 6146s, I don't think it had a fan on it, but somebody asked do they have cooling fans in those days? Or let's put it this way, where there's even provisions for a cooling fan. If you check the video, there are the vents. I'll call them convection cooling. That's just, you know, the heat rises, it goes out the top of the set, it pulls in the cool air from the back, and away you go. You don't need a fan. But I don't think of any, and I'll call it approved 11-meter radio, 11 CB, I should say, CB set that came with a fan. The FT101s did, but that was a ham radio and it ran 100 watts. So on the 5-watt radios, I don't know of anybody that put a fan in. Over.
I cannot remember seeing one with a fan stock. I've seen a lot of people put them in. I've seen a lot of radios that shouldn't have had them in, but nothing stock. No fans that I've seen.
Yeah, and I think my Whiteface, my If Johnson Whiteface, has a hole in the back or something that looks like someone had a fan in it at some time. But I mean, those cases, they were totally open. You could look inside the radio. It wasn't a big metal case, or wasn't surrounded by wood or something. And yeah, and Foxman 362, that's what I'm saying. The Kenwood TS520, the 101, those had fans, but those are running multiple 6146s, and they were capable of putting out 25 watts AM if it did AM. I don't think the 520 did. But over 100 watts on sideband, so a little more power output. Radio number 5, the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68, and I forgot to put if that was a Beagle or a Bagel. I think it's the Beagle.
Yeah, that one was the Beagle. This is the Bagel, no locks, a little bit of cream cheese, I think. Yeah, this one's got the better ping. It's got the RF gain control on the receiver and the spot light on the transmitter.
Yeah, you know, I just realized that's sort of the days before inflation. 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, just in that window between 69 and 70 when things started, the first little wave of inflation. I just noticed the price on that rig was the same or just a little bit more than the Eagle from 1964. So the end of 1968, they hadn't raised the prices all that much. But what was happening at that time, speaking of Kenwood and Yaesu, is the imports were starting to come in. Solid state had been happening in the amateur radio world, but was definitely starting to happen in the citizen band radio world. And so probably one of the last really semi-affordable Brownings back from 1967 or 68. Good deal.
Oh, yeah. Well, they went to the Mark II, and you had the AM sideband receiver, then you had the AM transmitter, then you had the SSB transmitter, then you had the transadapter that you stuck in between the two transmitters to switch them in and out. And then, if you had money left over, you got the 180.
For your business band operations.
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course. It's a weird setup. The sideband transmitter had its problems from what I've heard, but if you get a good one, in good shape and all, then you're lucky. I just have the AM transmitter and receiver. Well, I've got 180, but no transadapter, no sideband transmitter, because there's no room.
Yeah, all right. Speaking of that, let me see if I get a shot here of Jimmy, SWL34, his Browning, or part of his massive Browning collection, and there it is. I think that's the Mark II train you're talking about, the receiver, transmitter. Was there a separate transmitter for sideband? Is that correct?
Yeah. I think it said SSB something, some number after it. Yeah. Separate transmitter, and you put the transadapter basically in between them.
Yeah, he's got it set up here. He's got the receiver. You'll see this if you're watching the video. The receiver, which is twice the size or almost twice the size of the transmitter, the AM transmitter, the transadapter with the two knobs and the lights, then the sideband transmitter, and then I'm not sure what that is next to it. That might be the 180, but that looks like the Mark II train out of Jimmy's collection.
Yeah, Scrambler down there in southeast Fresno has the train. And yeah, he got that from me. And I got that from Bill, who got it from Everett when he bought all the stuff, and I let loose of it. I kind of, well, if I was physically able to, I'd kick myself. But I'm happy enough with what I have as far as the transmitter receiver. My bullet hole special, there's a hole in the transmitter and the receiver. But I did have that. And Scrambler's got it down there in southeast Fresno.
All right, boy, that's a handle I've heard a long time as a Scrambler, and I think Jimmy's also got a compact underneath the shelf. Well, this is not the kick yourself frequency, so do not do that. And boy, I look back at some of our old, and I've got some of them, some of the check-in sheets from the late 1980s, and there were so many. 35 years ago, there were just so many more people on the air locally here in town. And you remember, well, you go to Channel 3 and there's people, Channel 5, there's stations, Channel 7, Channel 11, Channel 14, and boy, it is just not a lot of people on. So we really are lucky to have this Saturday night forum here on 11 so that people, for whoever's around, come down and join us and say hello and then go back to what they were doing, but knowing that we could do that. All right, Harvey, you are sounding good. The old tube radio network. Oh, someone talking about tubes, and you shouldn't need, or it would be bad to cool them off. I know there are water-cooled tubes because you run them so hot that they start, the filaments and things start glowing. That's sort of excessive. But in the normal operation, and if they're, not really boxed in without any convection cooling, you really don't need. Tubes like to run hot. Transistors do not. Back in the old TV days, you could keep the rooms warm. The tubes didn't mind if the room was 85 degrees, but boy, when you started getting solid state gear, the room does not like it to be 85 degrees. This is the old Tube Radio Network. And we're looking for Radio 6 if we've got it. It's 10 o'clock, so we'll be counting and amounting soon. The jingle singers are saying they've got some magic going on, so we'll be right back on your old Tube Radio Network.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic.
Old Tube Radio.
For you.
Remember what they used to say, it sure is quiet out there. Right, people listening and hearing me rattling the papers. That is me going through the list here, counting and amounting, checking things out, seeing who is there. Also thanking those who are listening in, watching, enjoying the radio's as they come by. Thank you to our tube radio operators for that. And I will give the last call for radio check-ins tonight on your old tube radio network. And I'm just enjoying that low noise level. Look at that, below S2. I don't even have a noise blanker turned on because it's not necessary. Is it possible to do this every Saturday? Maybe my antenna fell over. And then it's mutual. People can't hear me, and I can't hear then. And Alpha Kilo 295, I agree. When it starts warming up here in the Central Valley of California, we start getting the ducting and the E-skip, and it will not be unusual for us to hear Oregon, Washington, parts of Nevada, Arizona, and some of northern and southern California. So it'll be interesting. And of course, the Beacon station, Chrissy and Dwayne up there in Idaho, who've checked in many times. You've got some stations in Colorado that are listening. So looking forward to that, maybe aided by Cycle 25, where when we're at the big peak, 10 meters and 11 meters might be open all night for stations around. So we'll be looking forward to that. All right, last call for any check-ins.
60.
Hey, I've got space for you. In fact, it'll be number 6. So radio number 6, I'll just add a 0 in there. We'll call it 10 o'clock plus and take a transmission. It's good. I needed one more radio to make my night.
Well, this one might do it. Well, better yet, I've got another one warm. Doggone it, Dennis, I'd like to check in the what do they call this base? The Hustler base from Radio World Labs.
All right, Hustler, our pictures are back up this week. That one always comes through, and I think I will able to put it up at oldtuberadio.net if I copy the address, and I will do that. So if you're over on the .net page, you will get to see. Oops, or maybe you won't. I have to do it in a certain order. Before I can get it on the main page. But take a transmission and I refreshed my memory again. How did you come into possession of the Hustler?
Oh, I got a surprise from Harvey. Harvey surprised me with this one and said he had an interest of a radio for me, and he wanted to get with me. He said he had come across a base called the Hustler, and that I might be interested in it, and I was, and he purchased it and did the work to it, and well, this is it.
All right, well, that's a good thing. We're glad that it's it, because again, I don't know of anybody. I never even see these up on, the various Facebook pages, in anybody's shelf. So I'm going to say they are a bit rare, but we always enjoy having it here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Plus the just the fact that it's got some history with World Radio Labs, Leo Meyerson, and things of that nature. And most importantly, it always sounds good with you behind the microphone over.
Thank you much, Dennis. Yeah, 7 tubes, 8 channels. Good-looking little bass, too. About half the size of a loaf of bread. Always a lot of fun to talk on this one. It has all the hardware. It has the rack, so if you want to put it under the dash of your car, and it wouldn't take that much room. It's a pretty small-looking radio, but it has a little weight to it. We're also on a Turner Plus 3.
Sounding good. And who was it? Somebody says Cornbread. I had a 59 T-Bird that color. And the designers of these radios back then were also designing automobiles. There is a Hallicrafters radio. I think it's an SX42, and it was designed, was it Raymond Loewy? One of the guys that was designing the Chryslers, putting tail fins on the Chryslers. Hallicrafters, Bill Halligan hired the guy to design a radio, to design the front of the radio and make it swoop and put the knobs here. And so, again, I think design of radios and color was mid-century modern as well. You had a market out there, just like the automobile dealers were trying to make you think that their car was the sexiest one. Same thing with the radios on some of these. I know some of it is functional and utility, and the knob needs to go here, but if they could move it around and push some things around. Who was it? Pierce Simpson was really good at that as well. So, radio number 6, World Radio Lab, the Hustler, 7 tubes. That is about the least you could get by with. I'm sure you could build a transmitter with a couple of tubes, a sweep tube and some other stuff. But when you added a receiver and everything else, 7 tubes was about it. Madman Muntz might have been able to get 6 out of it, but 7 tubes works well, just like the Hallicrafters CB3A. It's radio number 6. Take another transmission, and we'll be counting and mounting, but we will stand by, because I know you got some more before we head out of here. Back to you.
Yes, we do there, Dennis. I appreciate it. You let me check this one in, and let me hook up the other one real quick.
All right, good deal. The Old Tube Radio Network. Jingle Singers say they are all right. They're ready. So here we go. We'll back in just a moment.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR.
Let's do some adding.
27.085 megahertz.
What do they amount to?
Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
Yeah, and what's going on with the FM? I haven't listened in. 26805. I always thought that was sort of like AM frequencies down there, and it's definitely is not, as far as I know, it is not any official channelized FM frequency. At least here in the U.S. Am I wrong about that? Maybe in the U.K., but I certainly don't think it's an FCC acceptable item, even though the mode is now acceptable. FM on 10 meters up above 2,900. You can hear it up there. The repeaters at 29, 620, 624, 660. People doing the C4 FM fusion up at 29,250. I think that's a call channel. So FM is alive and well. OTR standing by. And I do believe we have Radio 7 online. Go ahead, over.
Thank you much, Dennis. Dennis, I'd like to check in my Johnson Messenger, blackface model T00.
All right, E.F. Johnson, I will get a picture up for you. I've got a 223, which is in the background here. And somewhere in the shack here, I have just the Messenger, but not the Messenger 2. So you'll have to rely on your audio and this picture coming up. Take a transmission.
Thank you much, Dennis. Yeah, we really appreciate keying up this radio all the time, because you don't have a whole lot of doodads on it to say it's going to do something fancy there or whatever we got going here. Dennis, we have a channel selector from A to, I guess that's from A to J, and 10 channels to go along with it, 10 tubes, and we're on a D104 power mic.
One of the microphones that came with it was the Astatic. I'll pull the picture up. You can see the known as the ice cream cone microphonium. Audio works pretty good. D104 is a very good choice for that radio. It's like it has nice full fidelity, and if you have a D104 with a decent cartridge in it, it sounds good, as does yours. Take a transmission.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Well, the features on it, like I say, typical volume, your squelch, channel selector, and your channel indicator, which is really small. You almost got to put a pair of glasses on just to to see what channel you're on, because there's just a couple of eyes looking at you as the set is on. It also has a little indicator light in the background of the screen, and that tells us that we're keyed up.
And that's a good thing. I think the messenger had that little orange light that blinked. Messenger TWO. Hey, there's a couple people joining us. Let me say hello to Captain Robert out there in Nevada. Said he's at home doing some recuperation. All right, we will be sending some good radio energy out that way, Captain Robert. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully our radio energy will help make things better. Sorry to hear that it's not the way you want it to be, but keep the positive thoughts going on as well. I'll also get a check-in for SWL 111 here when we're done with this check-in. Hi, Robert. I didn't know if Reedley was going to be joining us tonight. We have a nice, quiet frequency here in Fresno this evening, so I might be able to hear you direct. Currently online, the Johnson Messenger TWO, the collection of SWL 60. Always good to share it here with the 10 tubes. That radio, by the way, and this was sold around the same time as the Golden Eagle, at $169.95. So yeah, a good $200 less. So you know they sold a lot of these. Sold way more Johnsons than they did Browning Eagles, but you know, everybody aspired to an Eagle. Would run 12-volt DC or 150-volt AC, and there is a schematic if you go to oldtuberadio.com. Joe, thanks for bringing it by. Give us another transmission, and you are Radio 7 tonight.
Okay, Dennis, and doggone, like I say, you know, thanks for letting me check this one in. I wouldn't exactly tote this one around to say, you know, if it was even DC, try to put this in the car. This is it's a little too long, and it is a heavy radio. Okay, Dennis, thanks a whole lot, and appreciate you doing the net.
All right, I'm glad I'm here to kind of direct all the radios. Hello to some of our new SWLs listening. Again, this is the Old Tube Radio Network. We are on local in Central California. We have been doing this, believe it or not, for about 37 years, since the mid-1980s, providing a spot for the local tube radio operators and collectors to jump on the air. That's sort of what we did. It's very informal to jump on the air and turn the radios on and, you know, like driving an old car around the block. It's got to get out of the garage once in a while. The shortwave listeners, such as yourselves, coming in, enjoying the radios, and we appreciate the people listening in. And then, I don't know, about 10 years ago, we started doing some audio streaming and later some video streaming as well, as you are seeing here on the site. So we appreciate you stopping by and encourage you, if you don't already, to do something like this where you are. So hello to Miss Southern Belle. Thanks for joining us, as well as Guru and Wahoo the Turtle on the Old Tube Radio Network. Going to be counting and amounting. We'll be shutting down here. It is 10 o'clock our time on the West Coast. It is tomorrow where a lot of people are listening. The Old Tube Radio Network. And the jingle singers say, it is that time. It is that time to wind it down.
You're tuned to
OTR, Channel 11,
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
If indeed you can be modern. All right, let me jump in. And there's be a guy say, we tie the ribbons on it. I don't know if that's... that makes people cringe, so I don't know if we're going to tie the ribbons on anything, but we are going to conclude this episode of the Old Tube Radio Network, where we had 76 shortwave listeners come by on our list, but many more coming by tonight and possibly listening to or watching the video replay. There is an archive. If you go to oldtuberadio.net, it says archive, and then it will load after about an hour. It will load all the little reel-to-reel tapes for the OTR magnetophone to play for you. Just pick the date, and whether you want to listen to the tube radio check-ins or the shortwave listener check-ins. Radios tonight, we had 6. And it appears it looks like the Brownings are the most heard radios tonight, but not like last week when they were over half the radios heard. When that happens, Espresso Trucking Company comes out and has to play their song. But tonight it was neck and neck. B&K Cobra Cam 88 started things off from Sean out in Sanger. Is it still quiet? Look at that, S2. Maybe I don't have to talk so loud. And then Eric, good to hear Eric. And he's been bringing us tube radios from the 20th century. And now it's the 21st century and he's still doing it. The T-Berry Model T sounding pretty good. It just kept getting better. I bet if we kept talking tonight, he'd be up at 20 over on the meter. Radio number 3, Chris on the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A, proving that you can keep your radio stock on power and on audio, and it's going to sound good because they built them that way. Radio number 4, Ron on the R27 S23 Browning Eagle. I wasn't sure he still had some tube radios in the shack. It's good to know that because he has one of those 21st century radio stations, but he's humble enough to make sure that he does not forget his roots and does not throw the tube radios out. Check out the Ditch Bank sideband at net on Friday evenings here in Central California, 36 Lower. When the skip is in, they have a visitors check-in section, and even the long-distance section. We had people checking in from way out on the coast, 100 miles away this week, rather. Radio number 5, Harvey with the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68 Beagle, the World Radio Labs Hustler, radio number 6 from Joe, and he also brought by the E.F. Johnson Messenger TWO. The Old Tube Radio Network, thanks again to Rob, SWL3, and Frodex for putting all those little circular, licking all those little circular things and putting them in the holes of the Rolodex file so they're not falling on the floor and we can actually see the radios tonight. Thanks for all of you who are spending time on a Saturday evening, Sunday morning, to be at that Saturday night place to be the Old Tube Radio Network. 73, and we'll see you next week, I hope.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for the show, and doggone it, enjoy tomorrow, Sunday. The playoffs will be against the Bengals, the Chiefs, and doggone it, there'll be 2 games. Actually, the winners of those games will meet in the Super Bowl.
So the winner tomorrow, is that what happens to them?
Yes. We'll see who wins out of the Chiefs and the Bengals, and the Eagles and the 49ers will follow that game. Will follow the Chiefs and the Bengals. The winners of those games tomorrow will meet in the Super Bowl.
All right, so there's 2 games. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people getting nothing done tomorrow.
Well, it's been a long season. I think they've earned that right to not do nothing and, hey, get yourself a bag of popcorn and some treats, and there'll be 2 games on, starting maybe from 3:30 on to the next game, which follows around 5:15 or something like that. But they'll both be good games. They're both the 4 of them are great teams. So it should be exciting. A lot of people for the 49ers, hopefully. A lot of people for the Bengals in the first game. I'm hoping that the Chiefs will win the first game, and that I don't know. I think the 49ers will get the second game.
All right. Well, see, I look at it from not a sports enthusiast aspect, but in working in broadcasting for so long, the networks are hoping you have a big, strong team from the East Coast, Midwest, and then also a big, strong team from the West Coast, because then you get the most people wanting to watch the Super Bowl, and they get more money that way. So. All right, sounds like a good deal. A good day to be on the radio, I guess, if you're not into football, or a bad day to be on the radio if you throw out TVI into your neighbors that like to watch football. So be careful in what you do. 73, everybody, the Old Tube Radio Network.
Good show, Dennis. Catch you next week.
All right, boy, that radio sounds good.
Yeah, it'd be better with a different operator.
Well, put on a different hat. Put on a tie.
Just give it to me, Harvey. I'll take it.
Oh, boy. Well, Dennis, once a week you put a pocket protector on. Well, I wear one 5 days a week.
And I put it on not to, in any derogatory matter, I put it on as I wear it as an honor.
I wear it so I don't put holes in my pocket.
So did they really work?
Yes, they do. I've got some special ones I bought. They're not like plastic. It's some other material. It stands up a whole lot better. Came in a pack of 5, so I'm set for quite a long time.
All right, you know, I just realized we're still on here, so if anybody's listening, let me pop the video back on. And this is the real deal. This pocket protector was sent to me from one of our listeners, one of our anonymous listeners, and it is really nice plastic. And the fact that they're talking about S&H green stamps, so this pocket protector is obviously 40, 50 years old, and it is high quality plastic. It is in no way at all coming apart, and you can see it says, I give S&W green stamps. It shows tubes on the front of it. Add Forever Pocket Saver. What does it say? Absolute minimum 2,500 units, patent pending. So I guess you could order these with color and imprint if you wanted 25 or more. And I don't know what the price was, but I mean, it's good. It's still shiny. It still works. And, you know, it protects, and indeed does protect the pocket of this suit that is probably, this suit jacket that is probably older than the pocket protector. So it is a good thing.
I love that suit coat. It's great. Okay, we'll catch you next week.
All right, 73, everybody. The Old Tube Radio Network leaving the air.
Harvey, don't run off. I have a question. Lafayette Comstat, it keys up, and I cannot get any audio out of it. And I've tried several microphones, so I think it might be something inside the radio.
You have receive audio?
Great receive, man. It's got great receive. And I've tried it with the range expander on and off, and still no audio out, but it does key up.
Okay. It could be a number of different things. But doesn't hopefully sound like anything major. And it's a 25 or a 25A, or what is it?
Hold on, let me get a better look at it. It is a 25A.
Oh, the Canadian version, the 25A? Okay. Alrighty. Could be any number of things. You still live where I think you do, right?
Yeah, I'm out here off of Shaw Avenue right before 145.
Ow! That's like not far away. Okay, well, if you want me to look at it, not a problem. I'm just trying to think. You could do a test if you want. That one has a CVPA switch, right?
Yes, it does, and I tried it, flicking it to PA and all that, and I can't get any audio out.
Okay. Did you plug an external speaker in?
No, I did not.
Okay. Some work where the radio itself, when you put it on PA, the audio comes out of the radio speaker. Some, it only works with an external speaker. Your audio is switched through the CB-PA switch. If you've got a broken wire there or a bad switch, it could work in the CB position, but not in the PA. If you could stick a external speaker on there, see if you get receive sound, and then switch it to PA and give it a shot. The odds are it's not that, though.
Yeah, I kind of don't think it's that. At one time it worked. It was Jeremy's, and he gave it to me, and it worked. And then all of a sudden it's like, I know it has good output wattage because it keys the amp up, no problem. So it's just, man, I just can't get any audio out of it, and I've tried all kinds of microphones and nothing. It keys it up, and that's it.
Okay, have you still got my phone number?
I think so. I'll have to look that one up. I might not have it.